Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. We're here for some more LMU, the Mon Ultimate. We are at Sebring for what will be my first race at Sebring on the Mon Ultimate. Track I do know somewhat well from other games like Forza and Assetto Corsa. But not one I've driven too much of, especially as of recent. And will be a bit of a different challenge, I would say, here. Welcome, as we get into qualifying. Bit of a different challenge here, as at Sebring, of course, known for being very bumpy. And we'll see that very soon. No, that's not how you start a car. So we have our private qualifying session here, and as you can see, we being Sebring being an American track, the pit lane doesn't have pit boxes. So there's tents that make up, or garages I should say, so there's tents that make up the garages behind the pit lane, and then you have to drive round into the pit lane, which is quite weird. But we will head out qualifying. It's very long qualifying. It is 30 minutes long, private session as well. So despite the fact we have GT3 cars sharing the track with us, it's not like we're gonna, it's not like the qualifying split 15-15. It's just everyone out for 30 minutes. So plenty of time to get a lap in. Time to get used to running the car on low fuel. Let's head around the first sector. Every time I've driven out of the pits so far, out of the pits on the cool tires, I've always misjudged the first corner, which is for the WC pits, the hairpin. I'm thinking, oh, I'm at a slower speed, I can brake at the same spy brake on a normal flying lap, and then I just don't get the car turned in and end up in the wall. So, not doing that this time. As we continue to work the tires. Yeah, turn 1 is very tricky. Welcome, Cora. I have to say, I really haven't got to grips with this circuit. Definitely not very consistent, and definitely haven't been getting the most out of the cars. Out of the Ferrari. Round the lap. Out of the final corner for a second prep lap, I would say. But with how bumpy this circuit is, it actually feels quite physical. I was getting a little bit tired when I was doing some laps in practice. Oh, Sunset's the hairpin. I mean, both the hairpin and the actual T1 are very tricky. and are the bumpiest corners on the track easily. Can turn the motor map all the way up to 200 in the Ferrari. Hopefully we'll get 2 laps. Out of the battery and fuel. Yeah, I mean, the Mont's got a lot of straights, which makes it quite easy. Yeah, turn 1 certainly isn't flat these days. Yeah, not gonna have fuel for another lap, which is good to know. So up to the line. Our first push lap is a 147.9. Let's put in an extra couple liters of fuel. Yeah, just have to be careful with how much of the hybrid we're using. Oh, a little tight light tap on the fence. Doesn't come up with any damage repair, so I'm going to assume that didn't do much damage, if any at all. That right-hander is can catch you out. You do have to slow down a little bit for it from the pit speed limit on the cold tires. Not now, power choice, please. Oh, as I've done that thing of taking sunset too quickly. Nearly slid into the wall there. Just shows you how tricky cool tires are in this game. We're currently 1.8 seconds off on the current pole lap, 146.1. One thing that's different, of course, we've driven hypercars a couple of times. We've driven the BMW, the Porsche, the Cadillac. All of those cars are LMDH cars, which were more specifically made for the IMSA series. So there's a lot more limitations to the LMDH cars. They've used an LMP2 chassis as a base. They can choose any of the LMP2 manufacturers for that base chassis. And then the hybrid must connect to the rear wheels as part of the sort of normal powertrain, kind of like how it is in F1. And they provide up to 50 kilowatts extra horse or electrical power. And that's what allows them to jumpstart the car on the electric motor. You use those 50 kilowatts of electrical energy just to drive the car out, and then once you get up to like 50 kilometers an hour, the car roars into life as the engine uses that speed to fire itself up. But the LMH cars are a little bit different. They take more inspiration. Obviously, they're based on what is wanted from WEC rather than IMSA. So a little less focus on cost saving for these LMH cars. You know, you can build a bespoke chassis for it, and as well, much like you could with the old LMP1 cars, you can mount the hybrid system, or the electrical part of it, to the front axle. That means the cars like this Ferrari are all-wheel drive. But to keep it fair with the cars that have the LMDH cars that are rear-wheel drive only, the hybrid's only allowed to kick in above a certain speed. For the Ferrari, that's 190 kilometers an hour. Sorry. So you'll see on the top left of the wheel, there's a blue light there that says MGU beside it. Whenever that blue light is on, then the MGUK is deploying energy, and you'll notice it only comes on when we get up past 190 kilometers an hour. Up until then, it stays off to signify that the car is rear-wheel drive only. The Peugeot, most of the LMH cars have a limit of 190 kilometers per hour. The Peugeot has a limit of 150, which makes it quite good in the wet, since you get that sort of more of a benefit from all-wheel drive. As I can use it at that front-wheel drive at slightly lower speeds, or all-wheel drive I should say. And yeah, that is quite helpful. Of course, they can use a lot more power. That's why you see the 200 kilowatts possible on the Ferrari here. A little bit of understeer through turn 3. A bit more through left-hander onto this back straight as well. I think Sebring is just a tricky track. With how bumpy it is for these cars. requires you to kind of focus down. Anyway, we're exactly 1/10 off of P6 in front, but we're nearly 2/10 up on this lap. Just got the sunset hairpin to go. Made up a little bit of time there, just over 2/10 up now. So we go for another lap, that gets us up to P6. But we've got a bit of a gap to go up to P5. Turning in a little bit early there for the left-hander. Not picking up as much understeer. Not quite getting the car hooked up onto the curb as much there. Lost a bit of time throughout the middle sector. Yeah, not a great final corner either. So we still have 13 minutes left of the session. You can see 1.7 off. Very close at the front. Yeah, and it's quite close behind us. Which is good. Hopefully we'll have a bit of a race. We won't be in no man's land too much. You can see just half a tenth separating us to 7th. So if we can, find, we had a couple of tenths there on our previous lap that we lost towards the final sector. So hopefully we can do the, find those couple of tenths, just try and put a little bit more space between us and the cars behind. Welcome, Geeky. Good to see you. We're about 2/3 of the way through qualifying nearly. Still got 11 minutes to go. Currently sitting in P6. The one handy thing about the WEC pit lane being where it is technically you don't need to do a full out lap to start a flying lap. You know, to me, I consider this our out lap. But to the game, this is our first flying lap. But it's never going to be competitive because the tires aren't up to temperature. Sliding around in this opening sector. Was a good T1, gained a couple of tenths, but have just lost most of one of those tenths. The remainder of sector 1, a little bit deep there. Bit ambitious trying to get on the par. I didn't get the clutch in time there. Oh well. Just go one lift and coast a little bit here. Because of course getting the car going again will have used a little bit of fuel and energy. And taking out 1 litre or 1% of energy and the equivalent fuel might have us a little bit tight. Gotta be careful you don't skate the plank over that curb on the left there. Puts you out wide through the left-hander and leaves you on a tight line for the right-hander. And it's very important right-hander that leads you onto this pit straight for the WEC. As we go for another lap here. That's good through T1. But better through the rest of sector 1, and we're over 3 tenths up now. Nearly 4 tenths. Just a little bit more careful on the throttle this time through the hairpin. Gets us a good exit, and we are over 4 tenths up now. Little bit deep. Into the right-hander there, doesn't cost us too much time. .36 of a second up into the final sector. Bad line there. Oh, lost all the time. Still have 1 more lap in this stint and time to go for another short stint. Yeah, lost too much time in the final sector. Slightly better sector one this time round. Gonna be nearly 5/10 up. Over 5/10 up coming out of the hard pit, so a little bit quicker. Have been demoted down to P6. Little late on the turn in. It's that right-hander. Again, costs us a little bit of time. Not a great line through that right-hander as well. Just over 3/10 up coming down the pit straight. Felt like the car was cutting out a little bit coming onto the start-finish straight, but we get ourselves back up to P5. And now we're only about about 2.5 tenths off P4. As we'll have a couple more laps. To try and set one final improvement. Oh, this pit lane is so long. I mean, you've essentially got to travel through the pit lane at one entire time, plus however much distance you're down the tents. Let's not push too hard on the cold tires. So we've dropped down to P8 now. Well, in a minute, just over a minute, we've dropped 3 positions. We're only going to get one proper flying lap here, actually. Should have taken out a bit more fuel. Like we got a better exit there of that right-hander compared to our Delta. So that's one of the corners we need to try and improve upon. Take a wide entry, get a good exit onto start-finish straight. Start our final flying lap for this qualifying session. All right, through T1. By a tenth down though in the first sector. Very close with our delta, just slightly up as we head into the final sector. Pretty much dead level on our delta onto the pit straight, just one corner to go, Sunset Bend. Toughest corner on the track. We made up a little bit of time and we just about jumped up into P7 by 17 thousandths of a second. We got ourselves up into P7. Within 2/10 of the Peugeot in front of us in the end. Oh. Was a little bit more time left in that, but yeah, very difficult to put that lap together. Oh, that was tight at the end. So we now just wait for... One car got DQ'd. I don't know how you got DQ'd in a quali session. But yeah, in the top half of the Hypercar class, 16 cars in the Hypercar class, there are 12 in GT3 class. Though, again, I don't know how one's been disqualified. Apparently we got 28 laps in. I think... I think it counts your like drive from the garage to the start finish line, despite the fact you only take one corner on the track. No, surely like you can return to pit just fine during quali, so like I think not. Anyway, I want to do a quick fuel calculation and this time use the correct race length of 1 hour. Let's say 147s for the race. So we're going to see a 34 lap race. Don't think we're making it without a pit stop, which is fine by me. Too many corner cuts, I guess? I mean, you'd have to be intentionally corner cutting to do that, though. Like, there's not really... You know, okay, you can cut that sort of final sector a bit, but the curb on the left-hand side is, like, it's not flat. You can't just drive over it. Like, if you even get the center of the car over the curb, you know, the plank section, it will just scrape along the ground and you'll bottom the car out on it. Yes, getting into on our race. Welcome, Iris. Yes, just in time for the race. Starting very soon. So I just want to see, we currently, it says 30.4, what? It said 30.4 laps there, but it was saying like 27 just a moment ago in qualifying. Yeah, the fuel estimate's a bit weird. I guess we'll play it as we go along in the race, as we've usually been doing throughout our races. And yeah, starting P7. Let's head on to the grid. Got a couple of Porsches on the row behind us. We've got a Chevy just to our right-hand side. BMW and the Peugeot. New Peugeot with the rear wing in front of us.
Formation lap has started.
So we're lining up for the start. Very interested to see how turn 1 will go on the bumps. Look how bumpy the entry to Sunset is. And we're only going at 60 kilometers an hour.
Green flag, green flag.
As we're away for the start here. I misjudged where turn 1 was a little bit. That's the Chevy in front of us. The Chevy we worked so hard to get in front of in qualifying. We're all down to single file. Going the wrong way in the pits. I mean, that makes sense. Chevy getting past the Toyota on the inside. I'm trying to follow them through. But not quite able to. Everyone a little bit wide of Apex around this pit straight. Towards Sunset Bend now. A lot of people taking really wide lines coming into Sunset. I'm surprised that doesn't give you track limits, because that is beyond the white line, but I guess we're in America. So I go a little bit deep into turn 1. We are in America, so I suppose they're maybe a little more relaxed at, like, you can completely cut the white line on the exit of Sunset. So yeah, it makes sense that you can cut it going into Sunset. I don't know if I want to start trying to see if that line works. Just about got that slowed down in time for going into the back of the Toyota. Porsche behind running quite wide is sort of sliding through the right-hander. Struggling to get a good drive out with the bumps and the traction control kicking in. can see just how much the traction control cuts in on the exit there. You know, the car audibly getting quieter when the traction control does cut in. As we have a Chevy spinning. Toyota locked up, ran in deep. Give the Toyota space. Toyota not brave enough to stick it down the inside on the brakes of the hairpin. That lets us get up to P6 now, one place from spinning Cadillac, one on the Toyota. I feel like the traction control's cutting in a bit more aggressively than it was in practice. Well, the Toyota is right behind us still. Toyota does seem to be a little bit quicker than us, I would say. Yeah, just a bit too eager and aggressive to get onto the throttle there. If you remember back to Fuji, it's kind of like how we struggled with the final couple of corners around there in the GT3s in our first race. Close up on the Porsche in front of us through sunset. Porsche really are they on the brakes there. Completely unintentional dive bomb. But the Porsche was just that much out there on the brakes. Now we can go chasing down the next couple of Porsches in front of us. Had a hypercar coming out of the pits there. Set new personal best. And already half a second up on this next lap. So we are getting a little more comfortable with the race car. Be into the 48th this lap. Which is good for trying to chase down the cars in front of us. That was good of a run through sunset last time. Front left lockup as is a bit deep in braking for T1. Ran a little bit wide too for good measure. Big lockup for the Porsche in front, has dragged it onto the grass. That will give us P8 back. Five seconds to chase down to the next Porsche. I got through a little bit too early. We will definitely need to refuel for the end of the race. I'll say it can be quite hard to see some references at times, just because of how violently the car's shaking around. A little bit of a lock up there. Dragged me a bit deep into the corner. gained a lot of time on the Porsche in front. Just because we've caught the traffic in a more ideal point of the lap. Also coming up on a lapped Porsche. Let's go get out of the way for us. I wanted to get the McLaren before this right-hander, but I wasn't quite close enough. That was a little sketchy. I think I left the McLaren a bit more room than I needed to. Struggling with a little bit of understeer through the opening sector. Struggling to get the car slowed down. And that time loss could be quite bad here because it means that, yeah, I'm not quite close enough to pass the BMW there. Have to do it around the outside there. Sticking to the inside. And yet, the other way around this time, I've got all the traffic in the bad spot and lost a lot more time than the Porsche that we're trying to chase down. Quite close enough to the BMW there, and that's a horrible place to catch it because look, have to wait all through the first sector here. And that's a second lost. We've got a lapped Chevy behind us. That might be the Chevy that spun on the exit of turn 1. That was very close to the Chevy running into the back of us. I think they just locked up on the bumps. Porsche is spun as the Porsche we were trying to chase down. That gets us back up to P7. "40 minutes left in the race. We're nearly 11 laps down. "23 to go. We only have enough fuel for 14 laps. So looks like we'll need 9 more laps of fuel. Using 3.81% of energy last lap. I hope that's in percent. Porsche behind made another mistake and has lost a lot more time. A bit too much speed in there. We're in a bit of clear air at the moment, but we don't know how the strategy is going to go. Changing the fuel ratio there, since at the moment our energy will go nearly half a lap longer than our fuel. Catching up to a lapped car. this point I'm just trying to be consistent, not make any mistakes. Not have any big lockups. Catching up to lap this Lamborghini. Lets us go down the inside of Sunset. A little bit of locking up into turn 2 there. But yeah, at this point of the race we're just counting down the laps. There. A little bit of a lock up into the right-hander there. Very messy first sector there. Halfway into the race now. A little bit of a slide from the rear end there. There is a fight in front of us between the Porsche and Toyota. There's only half second separating the pair of them. Looks like someone's crashed at Sunset, I think, looking at the track map. I'd say they're either really slowing each other down. Is big spin for the BMW there, very dramatic. Side by side in front with another couple of BMWs through the hairpin. BMW made that a bit tighter than I would have liked it to have been. A little tight for comfort, but we got through. Back marker Porsche spun on the apex. We're on the inside of Sunset. There. Glad the BMW went to that inside lineup. Made that a bit easier. A little bit wide on the entry to Sunset. But make up for it with a good exit. As a good run through turn one that time. Porsche in front's made a mistake. They're now only 3 seconds in front of us. You can see them there. Fortunately, that Porsche is one of the cars that's not appearing on a relative. So just comparing the numbers that are on the steering wheel for the energy usage and what it says in the bottom right, they do correlate, so what we see on the steering wheel is in percent, which is good to know. We're using 3.85 last lap in terms of energy percentage. So when it comes to doing the calculations, I'll just run that up to 4. So I can see what the Porsche's last lap time was, but as I mentioned, they're one of the cars not appearing on a relative, and looking at it, there's a few cars that aren't appearing on a relative. I've seen it was like 7th, 4th, and 2nd of the Hypercars. Like, that's definitely not right. So we're going to have 4 laps left here. I'll guess to lap 25. So I'm going to say 39% energy is what we're going to need. A big gap to the cars behind now. Didn't see if any of them pitted. Of course, it's worth noting the pit straight not being the same as start-finish straight. You know, we should really be taking our field thing at the sort of towards the pit entry rather than here at the start-finish straight. You know, 2% or 4 laps of energy. Well, that's more like 4.1. Chevy ran in quite deep there. I don't know if they were a little bit spooked or distracted at us coming up on them, but I lifted just because I knew I wasn't close enough to pass into that corner, so no point getting right onto their bumper. Might as well set up for a good exit. If we fuel saved, we could maybe go an extra lap on the fuel. But I don't see a point in fuel saving. Closed in on the Porsche this lap so far. Gap's down to 2 seconds. Of inside curb usage there, as its track's getting quite cloudier, or the weather's sky I should say. Oh, the Toyota's made a mistake. And now they're right in front of us. That makes me even more keen to pit this lap. No tire changes, 9 laps of fuel. I messed up that pit entry. Everyone's into the pits now, which might not be ideal. Had to go in to our box at an angle. Porsche, looks like the Porsche took a really short stop there. Meanwhile, the Toyota was a more similar time to us. McLaren has an issue there. That's wiggling around a lot. Yeah, Porsche's now 5 seconds in front. That's a really short pit stop for them. not good news. Stuck behind the McLaren here. Now the Toyota's stuck behind the Chevy through the hairpin. Not sure what side the Chevy there was going to go to. Lock up for the Toyota. And we're through up to P7. A car in the pits. Being through up to P6. Toyota much more confident than I am on the brakes into sunset. Toyota's not going to give us an easy ride home to the finish. All of the carbs there as we have 10 minutes to go. I'm not going to see the lap times of the Toyota because it's not on my relative. More traffic, both GT3 and lapped hypercars. Hopefully we're going to get the BMW GT3 there. He lets us through on the inside again. And we've eked up a little bit of a gap to the Toyota behind that lap. Gap's up to 1.5 seconds now. So we've given ourselves a little bit of breathing room. The rear end started to slide right there. We're closing up a lot on the Porsche in front of us. It's not like they have a lot of traffic. I think they're having to fuel save. They did have a very short pit stop. They make me wonder if they were going to have to fuel save. Looks like they are. Get to the inside of the BMW, don't lose too much time. Annoyingly, the Porsche in front of us, another one of the cars that isn't showing up on the relative. But they've caught a GT3 just in this first sector here. It's going to lose them a bit of time, but I'm just slightly overdriving the car. Look how much that's allowed the Toyota to close in. By 5 minutes to go in the race. Porsche running a bit wide there. Exit onto the pit straight here, struggling with a bit of understeer. Maybe a bit from the dirty air of the Porsche. Again, I just don't have a front end I'd quite like in this car. Not many laps to go here. Big front left lock up. Into T1. Porsche was a little wide through that left-hander onto this straight. Gives us some breathing room, but we've dropped back a bit from the Porsche. Don't know if the Porsche has done fuel saving yet. They certainly seem to have picked the pace back up. I just did not know where that Chevy was going to be. First track limit points of the race. Toyota's jumped back a little bit. They're 2 seconds back now. But we're a second back from the Porsche. Really we need to be right on the back of the Porsche in case it does have to fuel save a bit more. Next lap is going to be the final lap. We are coming up on one more GT3. Porsche pits. They weren't gonna do it. They've had to take an extra pit stop. They were just a lap and a bit too short. Brakes there. Final lap now, we have a 1.7 second lead to the Toyota behind. 2 laps of fuel. So we don't need to take any risks. Toyota is closing in a little bit. We're just bringing this to the finish now. Final corner now, Sunset Bend. One last time. Having qualified in P8, we will come across the line to finish our first race at Sebring in P5. A good race that. That was tricky. Fast lap 47.2. Quite big gaps at the front. Yeah, only 11 GT or Hypercars. finishing in front of the GT3s. One more finished behind the GT3s. Quite a few DNFs that race, which is a little bit disappointing to see. But bit of a workout that one. I would not want to do like a 4-hour race or certainly not a 6-hour race around Sebring. That would be way too much for me. That was tough. Uh, right. Let us switch over to that. And yeah, happy with that race. Given the difficulty of that race, kept it pretty consistent. Did have one mistake on the throttle out of the hairpin at the start of the second sector. I mean, in the end, did also make a couple of mistakes, so it wasn't. I mean, maybe we would have been closer to P4. Whether we would have got P4 or not, I don't know. I don't know, but we definitely would have been closer. Wouldn't have been closely fought at the end of the race there with the Porsche Toyota. That's for sure. Um, yeah. As we always do on stream, we'll finish off with a bit of Art of Rally. So let us head to the daily event first of all. Down on Monday, we got 60th. We were what 200ths off of 59th and another 100th further back from 58th. That was close. Yeah, I made a mistake. I trying to remember what mistake I made on Monday. Oh yeah, I misjudged. I think it was the left-hander understeered into a high bale. Just underestimated just how much the car was going to slide through the corner. Let's see what we can do today. We've a short Group 4 stage, 4.8 kilometres in the night at Norway in the snow. Let's see what we have. We have a Cosy. stages. Got well around that first corner, or around that first corner pretty well. This car handles quite nicely. A little bit too quick into there. But with how well this car handles, we're sort of able to salvage it not too badly. Cheeky little cut. Little bounce on the inside there. Slight over rotation of the rear end there. Car handles really nicely. The front of it goes where you want it to. It will point into a corner. It's just a question of how much is the rear going to slide around, which is quite a lot. Do you have to worry a little bit about the rear end snapping back on you through the changes of direction. There's the finish. A very clean stage, 2 minutes 17.0. Let's see where that puts us. Puts us 26th, top 10%. Maybe I'm sliding the car around a bit too much. Yeah, that was very enjoyable, sliding that car around. Yeah, as I say, it was maybe a little bit too much, but it felt quick, and it was fun. It was how I like to drive, at least. What time is it? Well, we're 20 past 9. What do we have coming up for the rest of the week? Just give me a moment. The rest of this week we have Friday. We have an 80-minute race at Sebring, so I don't think we'll do the weekly event then. You know what? Let's do the weekly event now. I want to do the weekly event now. 20 past 8, yeah, Kiki. That is 8:20. Yeah, the reminder where we finished last week was 56th. I think a mistake dropped us back. I can't remember what the mistake was, but I remember there was something. This week we've got Group S at Indonesia, starting off with a 7.2 kilometer stage. On the dirt we've got Lancia Delta for the 4 stages this week. Let's see if we can tame this short wheelbase Group S monster. This car, one of the more understeery ones, as I'm reminded of pretty quickly into the first couple of corners. Just at that hay bale. blame the crowd as they were hiding it. You could do... Oh, I just about avoided a reset penalty there. Thought the car was going to grip up a little bit more in the dip. Too much rotation over the crest. Funny how the fruit stands just sort of kind of popped and exploded. 109th, yeah, not surprised with the two mistakes through there. Shorter 4.3 kilometer stage to try and start making that gap back up in the sunset now as well. Line through the first part of that chicane to open up the next left-hander using the bit of stage knowledge that I have around here. Just a little wide over that crest. Pushing to try and make time back up after that first stage. Another mistake, 145.2 gets us up to 54th. So we're already like made up halfway up this table compared to where we were. As we get into the third stage now, we'll have a chance to repair anything like the suspension that we've damaged. And we'll get into the third stage here. 5.8 kilometers, sorry. Two-wheel moment over the crest there. Oh, that's too quick over that crest. Luckily, just like the first stage, able to avoid falling too far off the stage to the point that the game resets us, as every reset comes with a 5-second time penalty. Oh dear. Just clipped the house on the outside and we go for many rolls. And do you have to get reset in the end? That's going to be very costly. The other thing with having all those rules is that I've done quite a bit of damage to the car. They were slow speed rules, but that doesn't mean they can't do damage. Final corner, 246.9. Yeah, that's a bit of a disaster of a stage. Back down to 93rd. We go on to the final stage, 6.4 kilometers in the fog. Can we have a clean stage this time? I was going to say a little bit of a twitch from the car there, but even bigger twitch over the crest puts us into a spin. Oh, that was solid. Car gripped up a little more than I thought we'd. There's finish 2 minute 3.8 for the final stage. Gets us back up to 85th, but yeah, that's quite a bit lower than where I'd like to have been and where I usually can get myself. So yeah, a bit of a sort of a train wreck, you could say, for this week's event on Art of Rally. Oh well, it was still enjoyable, still good fun, even if I messed up every single one of the stages. Well, that is going to do it for today's stream. We had some good racing at Sebring, some good Art of Rally stages, even if they didn't quite go our way. But yeah, good fun all in all. I will be back on Friday from 8 p.m. UK time for the next round of our Friday series on Le Mans Ultimate. in the GT3 cars, we're back at Sebring for an 80-minute race this time. So hopefully the GT3s are a little bit easier on the bumps, or not quite as quick. Hopefully aren't quite as sensitive to the bumps. But yeah, it's not going to be much easier if it is at all any easier. On Saturday, we're back again at about 6:30 UK time for a spec race on Assetto Corsa. I should probably do a bit of practice for that, to be honest. That is at the Avenisto circuit in Finland, and is with a car. A car called the Jide 1600S. Don't know much about the car. But yeah, that will be interesting. I also have just noticed. Sorry, that won't be starting at not 6:30 but 6:45 UK time. That will be starting out on Saturday. Then at 6:30 this time, we'll be back on the 2.4-hour series. This time at Watkins Glen on ACC after a brilliant round last week at Misano in the wet. Hopefully we will be able to get another good result, though it might be a little bit more difficult, as that race is very likely going to be tried. There is a very very slim chance it's going to be wet, but it's very slim. It's like 1% at most, I think. And then next Monday we're back for the final round of our Monday series on the Mon Ultimate 45-minute series at Monza, this time in the LMP2 cars. One final race to feel safe. Hopefully we don't mess it up as much as we did with Fuji, but it will be my first time racing Monza on the Mon Ultimate, and with the heavy braking zones, I imagine it's going to be a little bit difficult. And then next Wednesday we'll be back again with our Wednesday series that we started today in Ferrari Hypercar. Next week, we're back at Interlagos for a 90-minute race next week, so a little bit longer. Will hopefully be just as thrilling. I also just noticed I've put my calendar for 2 weeks' time in this Wednesday series. It's going to be Sebring. I'm like, but we just did Sebring today. Let me fix that. It's Imola in 2 weeks' time. Yeah. Before I get myself confused. I'll save that. But yeah, that's what we have. Over the next week, a lot more racing still over the next week. But should be some great fun, hopefully. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you, Cora. Thank you, Geeky. Thank you, Iris, for being here. And of course, thank you to anyone else that was lurking in the chat. Hopefully, I will see you over the weekend again, another busy weekend. But yeah, hopefully, I'll see you there for all of those streams. Hopefully, most at least, if not all. But yeah, until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.